What if the most terrifying story you've ever experienced, that nightmare that repeats, night after night, didn't have to end the same way? What if you could pick up a pen, and in the calm of the waking world, edit the script before the show runs again? This isn't just a thought experiment. It's a window into one of the most mysterious and profound functions of the human brain. We often think of sleep as a passive state, a time when the lights go out and the system shuts down for repairs. But the truth is far more active, and frankly, more incredible. Every night, your brain isn't just resting, it's working. It's sorting, processing, and in a way, it's storytelling. Understanding that process gives you a power you likely never knew you had. The stories your brain tells itself at night can be changed, and changing them can reshape your emotional world. The nightmare that won't end. Let's start with one of the most distressing human experiences, the recurring nightmare. For millions of people, a specific fear replays on a loop. It could be the feeling of being chased, of falling, of being trapped and unable to scream. For those with post-traumatic stress, these nightmares can be vivid, terrifying reenactments of past events, making sleep a place of dread instead of refuge. For a long time, we've viewed these nightmares as a kind of mental scar, an injury that just won't heal. But a growing body of research is reframing this. A recurring nightmare isn't just a scar, it's an active process. It's a pattern. Think of it like a corrupted file that the brain keeps trying, and failing, to open correctly. Or a neural pathway that has become so deeply grooved with fear that the mind travels down it automatically. The themes are often universal, touching on threats to survival, security, or physical integrity. You might experience feelings of failure, helplessness, or conflict in these dreams. When you jolt awake, your heart is pounding, you're sweating, and the anxiety bleeds into your waking moments. This isn't just a bad dream. It's a powerful psychological and physiological event, and it highlights a fundamental process where the brain is attempting to work through something emotionally significant. The problem is, sometimes, it gets stuck. And with every repetition, that pathway of terror can feel like it's getting deeper. But what if you could carve a new path? The editing room of the mind. To understand how you can change a nightmare, you first have to understand what a dream is. For centuries, we've debated their meaning, seeing them as everything from divine prophecy to random brain noise. But modern neuroscience is revealing a much more elegant explanation. Dreams aren't random. They are constructed. Recent large-scale studies have analyzed thousands of dream reports, finding that what we experience during sleep is dynamically shaped by our personality, waking habits, and our world. Your brain doesn't just replay your day like a surveillance camera. Instead, it acts like a creative editor. It takes the raw material of your life, fragments of memory, unresolved emotions, familiar places, and even imagined possibilities, and weaves them into new, often surreal, narratives. This process goes into overdrive during REM, or rapid eye movement sleep. In this stage, your brainwaves look surprisingly similar to when you're awake. Your heart rate and blood pressure increase, and key brain regions for emotion and memory, like the amygdala and hippocampus, are highly active. At the same time, it's a bit of a simplification, but generally speaking, activity in some parts of your prefrontal cortex, the area for logic and impulse control, is turned down. This creates the perfect storm for a dream. The emotional intensity is high, the imagery is vivid, but the logical filter that normally says, "Wait, that doesn't make sense," is partially offline. That's why you can dream your childhood home has a door that opens into outer space, and your brain just accepts it. It's a world built from feeling and memory, not bound by the rules of reality. And crucially, this is a state of profound emotional processing. Dreaming allows emotional memories to be reprocessed in a safer context, which may help reduce their intensity over time. Introducing the rewrite button, Imagery Rehearsal Therapy. This brings us to one of the most practical and empowering discoveries in clinical psychology, a technique called Imagery Rehearsal Therapy, or IRT. It's recognized as a highly effective, evidence-based treatment for nightmare disorders. Organizations like the American Academy of Sleep Medicine recommend it as a first-line treatment for nightmares, including those related to PTSD. IRT is a cognitive behavioral technique that treats the brain's dreaming process not as something that just happens to you, but as a behavior that can be modified. It's a method for systematically training your brain to stop running the corrupted file of a recurring nightmare. It operates on a simple, yet profound, premise: if a nightmare is a story the brain has learned to tell, you can teach it to tell a different one. The therapy acknowledges that nightmares often persist even after standard treatments for underlying conditions like PTSD. While other therapies are crucial, they may not always resolve the nightmares themselves, which often require a targeted approach. IRT provides that direct intervention. It's not about suppressing the dream or avoiding sleep. It's about actively engaging with the nightmare's narrative while you are awake, calm, and in control, and then systematically changing it. The goal is to reduce the nightmare's frequency and distress, giving you a sense of mastery over an experience that once felt completely overwhelming. How to rescript a dream? So, how does this actually work? The process of IRT is surprisingly straightforward, though it requires consistency and practice. It generally involves a few core steps, which you can learn with a therapist or, for less severe nightmares, begin to explore on your own. First, you pick a recurring nightmare to work on. If you have several, experts suggest starting with one that is distressing but maybe not the absolute most terrifying. Start low and slow. Second, you write the nightmare down in as much detail as you can remember. Write it in the present tense, as if it's happening right now. This is a form of exposure, allowing you to confront the narrative in a safe, controlled environment. Third, and this is the most important part, you rewrite the dream. You don't have to change the entire thing. You can change the beginning, a key moment in the middle, or, most commonly, the ending. The change doesn't need to be elaborate or happy. It just needs to be different in a way that alters the emotional outcome. The goal is to create a new script that empowers you, gives you a sense of control, or simply resolves the tension. For example, if your nightmare is being chased down an endless hallway, the rescript might be, I'm running down the hallway, but then I realize I have a key in my pocket. I stop at a door, unlock it, and step into a calm, sunny garden. If your nightmare is about being unprepared for a test, the rescript could be, I'm looking at the blank test, and I feel panic rising. Then, I look up at the teacher, who smiles and says, don't worry, this is just a practice test. You're here to learn. Fourth, you rehearse the new, rewritten dream. For about 10 to 20 minutes each day, while you are awake, you mentally visualize this new version. Engage your senses. What do you see, hear, and feel in this new script? You practice this new narrative until it becomes familiar. The logic is similar to how athletes visualize a successful performance before a competition. You are creating a new mental blueprint. The point isn't to force yourself to have this specific new dream. Instead, by rehearsing the rescripted version, you're offering your brain an alternative pathway. Over time, when the triggers for the old nightmare appear during sleep, the brain has another option. The old nightmare may become less frequent, less intense, or it might even incorporate elements of your new script, breaking the cycle of fear. It's a powerful idea, that we can consciously influence the stories our unconscious mind tells. If you've ever felt stuck in a thought pattern, whether in dreams or waking life, hit that like button to let me know this resonates. And I'm curious, what's a dream theme that you've noticed comes up for you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. The science of the rewrite. Why is this simple act of rewriting and rehearsing so effective? The answer lies in the brain's incredible capacity for change, a concept known as neuroplasticity. Your brain is not a fixed, hardwired machine. It is constantly forming new connections and pruning old ones based on your experiences. When you have a recurring nightmare, you are, in a sense, practicing a neural circuit of terror. The more the dream repeats, the stronger that connection becomes. IRT works by leveraging neuroplasticity in your favor. By repeatedly imagining a new, less threatening outcome, you are actively building and strengthening a new neural pathway. You are deconditioning the old fear response and conditioning a new, more manageable one. To use a metaphor, the old nightmare circuit begins to weaken from lack of use, like an overgrown path that fades away as you forge a new one. This process taps into the very systems the brain uses for memory and imagination. Research shows that the hippocampus, a brain structure vital for both memory consolidation and imagining future scenarios, is deeply involved in constructing dream scenes. When you imagine something vividly, you can activate the brain in ways that are remarkably similar to actually experiencing it. So, when you rehearse your new dream, you aren't just daydreaming. You are providing your brain's memory and threat processing systems with new data. You're essentially telling your amygdala, hey, this trigger doesn't have to lead to terror. Here is another possible outcome. This is more than just positive thinking. It is a structured behavioral exercise that modifies the emotional meaning attached to a memory or fear. It's a demonstration that we can use our conscious, waking mind to update the automatic, emotional scripts that run in the background during sleep. Beyond nightmares, the bigger picture, the power of dream rescripting points to a much bigger idea. If the brain's emotional response to a nightmare can be updated, what does that say about our memories and our sense of reality itself? The title of this video uses a metaphor. Your brain is secretly rewriting your reality every night. While it's not literal, it points to a fundamental truth. Our memories are not static, perfect recordings of the past. They are dynamic, malleable, and constantly being updated. And sleep is a primary time when this editing happens. Every night, your brain undertakes the monumental task of memory consolidation. It sifts through the day's experiences, deciding what's important enough to store long term, what can be discarded, and how new information should be integrated with your existing knowledge. This process doesn't just strengthen memories, it can also change their emotional charge. Sleep, and particularly dreaming, helps the brain process emotions, allowing us to cope with stress and regulate our moods. A 2024 study, for example, found evidence that dreaming helps transform our responses to waking experiences, prioritizing emotional memories but also working to reduce their negative punch by the next day. So, in a way, your brain is subtly curating your autobiography every single night. It's linking new events to old ones, softening the emotional edges of difficult experiences, and weaving a continuous narrative of who you are. The story of your past isn't set in stone, it's a living document, and your sleeping brain is its nightly editor. So, sleep is not a passive void. It is an active, vital, and creative state. It's a workshop where the brain builds models of the world, works through problems, and regulates our emotional lives. The fact that dream rescripting works is a stunning testament to this. It shows us that we are not merely passive spectators of our own minds. We have the ability to engage with its processes, to help rewrite the scripts that cause us pain, and to guide our own healing. Your brain is telling stories every night, stories built from the fabric of your life. Some are beautiful, some are bizarre, and some are terrifying. But they are all part of a dynamic process of making sense of your reality. By understanding this, you gain a deeper appreciation for the incredible work your mind is doing while you're asleep, and you unlock the power to, in a very real way, help it tell a better story. For more explorations into the hidden architecture of your mind and how it shapes your life, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Thanks for watching.